Matt, if you had to start from zero, again, wholesaling, what would you do?
The first thing I would do if I had to start wholesaling from zero, if I just started, I would literally just open up Zillow and I would start looking at things in the market, kind of get a general idea of what, I need my key real quick. All right, if I had to start real estate from zero, I would definitely start with wholesaling. It's the easiest way to get into real estate. However, I would definitely do things a little differently. When I first started, I was just calling other wholesalers and calling buyers and try to connect the dots that way. But I realize now, having control over deals is much easier and much faster to sell. So the first thing that I would do is I would look at Zillow. I would go to the keyword search and I would type in remodeled. The reason why I'm typing in remodeled is because I want to see where are all of the buyers buying? Where are they flipping properties? What do these properties look like? Well, then what I would do is I would make sure that I'm looking at the pendings and under contracts of those flipped properties. So I would go and find these really nice homes that look like they were flipped. I would go and look at the prices that they were bought at and then what they're pending at or under contract at right now. Then you could go and call that real estate agent or try to skip trace the buyer. Then you could go and once you talk to the agent, you could say, hey, I source off-market deals and on-market deals that are at a discount. I was just curious, this one looked like a flip. Do you think that if I had something, this person that you're listing for would be interested? A lot of the times that agent might actually be the owner of that property too. They might be the investor, the one that did the flip. So 9 times out of 10, they're gonna say, yes, we would be very interested in buying whatever it is that you have. The reason why agents would be interested in buying a flip like that is because they can go and sell it to the flipper and they would go and get a commission on the front end, and then they can also go and list it once the house is fully remodeled. So then they're gonna get a double commission from the front side and on the back side. Sometimes some agents work differently and can negotiate price or their commission on one of those sides. But overall, first thing I would do is try and find like a handful of those people.
What do you say to that agent? Like,
Yeah.
hello, I'm agent and I have this listing.
If you were the agent, what I would call and say is, hey Bobby, this is Matt. I source on and off market deals that are priced at a discount that have good opportunity and upside. You know, is that something that you would be interested in if I found something right around this area? And if they say no, then it's like, okay, no big deal. And then I would ask them too, I would be like, all right, yeah, no big deal. Just curious, were you the owner of this property or are you representing the person that bought it? And if they said, I'm representing the person that bought it, then I would take that address, throw it into truepeoplesearch.com, and I would find the phone number for the person that owns the property. And then from there, I would call the buyer, pretty much say the same thing. So it would be like, hey, Mr. Buyer, my name's Matt. I was just calling because it looked like you had a flip listed for sale. Wanted to see if you'd be interested in possibly doing another one in this area. If they say yes, what do you have? I would say, I actually don't have anything under contract right now, but I get properties in this area all the time. And so I just wanted to see first before I do go and get one. I have one that I'm working on right now. Even if you don't, if you could possibly help me run numbers on it. This is if you don't know how to do anything at all. If you can help me run numbers on it and I'll sell that property to you. 9 out of 10 times, those flippers are gonna say, yes, I'm down to do that. And so then the next step would be, after I find 1, 2, maybe 3 people in total that are committed to buying, then I would go and find a property. And so how am I gonna go and find a property? I would do the same exact process. Go to Zillow, type in the keywords investor, TLC, handyman, fixer-upper, cash, as is. There's a couple other, motivated, must sell. Those are my favorite keywords to put into Zillow. So I would go and put those keywords into that search and I would start calling those agents and I would say something along the lines of, hey, Mr. Agent, this is Matt. I was just taking a look at this property. I'm interested in putting an offer in on it. I'm a cash buyer, wanted to see, is this home still available? Because sometimes on Zillow, or we could have been a little late, but I want to make sure the property is still available first before we start talking about it, because it could be under contract, it could be pending, or they could literally have just accepted an offer. So like Zillow may not have changed the status. And so that's the first question I ask. The next question I ask when they say it is available, I'll just be like, cool, I see it's listed for X amount of days, whatever the days on market are. I see it's listed for X amount of days. Catch me up to speed. What is going on with it? Super open-ended question. That can lead to so many different directions. Most agents will start vomiting on the phone and they'll just over-explain everything, why the seller's selling, what the seller, if they've had any offers, what's going on with the property, and the condition. And so you kind of want to get all of those things anyways, but that question is so open-ended that most of the time it will lead into all of those things of what's the condition? Has there been any other offers? Why is the seller selling? You don't want to ask an agent why the seller is selling directly, but most agents will tell you why, and there's ways to dance around that to get that information. And so it is important to know those types of things. If they've had offers already, why haven't you taken any of those, right? And that brings out some more motivation, and also what the lowest number is that they'd take. And once I find out what that lowest number is that they would take, I would then call that buyer and say, hey, this one is on market, and I would make sure that he knows that, because I don't want him going around me or anything because I don't have it under contract yet. And I would say, so this one, I know I could get it right around X, Y, and Z price, and I would probably up the number about 5 to 10 grand from what the agent told me, and then say, do you think this is something that you'd be interested in? And if they say yes, I'm like, cool, here's the information. Will you run your numbers and let me know how much exactly you'd pay for this? And then most of them will say yes. They'll let you know exactly how much they'd pay for it. And let's just say it's $275. Well, then I'm gonna go and offer the agent, say, hey, I'm at $250, $260, $265, whatever it is on how much exactly you wanna make. And I would get the property at that price with a couple days inspection. The shorter your inspection period, the more attractive that offer is to the agent and to the seller. And so you have to think, what type of things are important in this offer? You can also ask those agents that, is there anything that I could put in my offer other than price that would make my offer stand out? It could be a short close. Some agents and some sellers don't want a short close. They might want a 30-day close and a 30-day post-possession, meaning that the seller wants to stay in the property for 30 days after close. And so maybe all the other offers that came in didn't have that. And so that's something that'll make your offer stand out. So I would ask the agents that, and I would try to get that property under contract. Then once the property's under contract, I would let the buyer know, hey, I got it. And if the buyer needed to walk the property, then I would get the buyer in and coordinate that with the agent and with the buyer to get him to go walk it and do his due diligence. Then once he's ready to go, I would have the buyer submit earnest money, and pretty much from there, I wouldn't even submit my own earnest money, and I would just ask title to have them say that the portion of the buyer's earnest money covers mine, and send that receipt to the agent. And then now you just did a deal for 5, 10, 15, 20 grand or whatever, how much you got deeper than the number that he told you. And so that's pretty much what I would do if I just started. And then, you know, some things can happen, like, Matthew, what if he says no, or what if he goes around you? Well, if he goes around you, that's probably not someone you should work with anyways. And so it's better to find out sooner rather than later. And so then I would still just go and keep doing that process, because most of the people in the real estate space, they want to do deals. They're very relationship based. And so I would really be trying to find people that I could really grow a great relationship with. And so if they go around you, so be it. That deal wasn't meant for you. You just go and do that process again and again and again. The second thing could be, well, what if the buyer backs out, or they don't want it after you get it under contract? I would literally do the same exact thing. Go to Zillow, type in remodeled, look at the ones that are pending, under contract, and previously sold, and then you could go and call those agents or skip chase the property, find out who the owner of the property was, and then go and call those people saying you got one under contract to find a new buyer. And so that's pretty much what we do on a daily basis. Whenever we get properties, we go to Zillow and look for properties that were sold or are under contract and pending that are remodeled. So that's a key when searching for a buyer. And to start, you really don't need a ton of buyers. Another great way too is going to Facebook and posting, hey, just starting wholesaling, who's buying in XYZ market? And probably someone like myself would reach out because that's where wholesalers live, not actual buyers. Most actual buyers do not live on Facebook. So you're gonna find another wholesaler that sells deals for other wholesalers and ask them, hey, can you run numbers for me? Hey, if I get a deal under contract, can you help me sell it? 9 times out of 10, they're gonna say yes. It's very rare that other wholesalers don't send out another wholesaler's deal. And so that's a really easy way to get started, figure out what's going on in the market and how to go and get properties under contract.
How long would it take you to get your first deal if you were actually starting from zero again right now?
Me personally?
Yeah.
It would probably take me only a couple days to get my first deal, like in escrow. And it's really not a long process. You just have to know every no leads closer to a yes.
So how many no's do you think it would take?
I mean, on average, it could take anywhere from 50 to 100 no's. But that one yes is gonna be huge.
What kind of energy drink are you in?
Bucked Up. Bucked Up is one of my favorite brands for energy drinks, supplements, and overall I think they just have a great product. And this one, I get the Miami. This one just tastes absolutely phenomenal. I love the Miami Bucked Up energy drink. You want one?
Yeah, let me get a rocket pop.
I'm gonna get 2 because I want one for tomorrow. Thanks for watching this video. If you wanna learn more stuff like this, subscribe, comment. You can even shoot me a DM. I help a lot of people get started in the wholesale real estate space. So I'd be happy to help. Shoot me a DM. Let's make some money together.
Excellent.
Boop, boop, boop. By the way, if you wanna get bucked up, use the promo code MattyJ22. 20% off, man. Crazy.